Hello, and I'm here, and Claire, are you there?
Yep.
Loki, are you there?
Hello.
Oh, look, we have a Loki. It's a
I am,
bit
yes.
just a little bit different because we
Shocking.
usually it's just two of us. This time there's three. Everyone
Three
else,
people.
Andy would be here, but apparently he's at work. He wouldn't.
Yep.
He wouldn't. He wouldn't disclose what he is
Yeah,
doing at
work.
work at 9 o'clock at night, but he's at work.
He's doing
Crunching.
overtime,
Overtime
working on games.
on games.
Crunching.
Games.
Mm. And that's what we're going to be talking about
Goodness.
today. We're going to talk about some
Mm.
games, talk about the PS4 conference from the other night, because that's
Or last
current.
night.
Well, yeah, last night. Well, it'll be the other night by the time I put this up.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to think laterally, because time is linear. It's not. Oh, is it timey-wimey, wiggly, waggly stuff? Yeah.
Oh, did I ruin the illusion?
No, there was no illusion.
Yes.
Everyone knows. Everyone knows I'm a fool, and time is just strange. So let's carry on.
They exist.
So, what did everyone think about the PlayStation 4 conference? Did anyone take anything away from it? Anything particular? Any main concerns, or anyone like anything
Rubbish.
particularly about it?
I wanted to see some hardware and they didn't show them.
Yes, they did. They showed a controller.
A controller.
You obviously
I
was
meant
not
the
looking
console,
hard
damn it.
enough.
Wanted to see it and say, "Yep, that's ugly," and move on.
Yeah, I would.
The logo's ugly. Uh, yeah. Sorry, I interrupted.
That's all right.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
also second your concern. It is apparently a console launch, yet they don't actually show you a console. That to me,
Yep.
you know. But kudos to them because they did kind of make like a 3-hour presentation purely on games and a controller, which
Mm.
you know,
Mm.
when you buy a games console, that's really what you're looking for. You're looking at games and maybe a semi
Well,
decent controller.
credit to Sony. I mean, some of their E3 conferences before have been up to an hour late because of various things, but they started on time. I think they finished on time as well. Um, Everything went to plan. Yeah, it was in that respect, it was a good conference. So
Well,
yeah,
everything went to plan until they mentioned their partnership with Ustream, and it sort of just shat itself. Which,
yeah, yeah. I originally went to Twitch because Twitch are part of Ustream, and they had GameSpot doing a sort of pre-show, and even GameSpot were having problems getting that stream down from Ustream. Everyone on every website you went to had embedded the Ustream applet, and it was just completely dead. Well, it just went down completely. Whereas I went over to Game Trailers, and yeah, I had absolutely no problems with that stream.
yeah,
It's really good. So
thank you very much for sending me
yeah,
that. Otherwise, I would never have been able to watch it. I, it,
yeah, they really screwed it up last night. But
Other than that, without a hitch. I mean, we'll
mm,
start with the only piece of hardware they actually showed. So let's start with the Bluetooth EDR equipped DualShock 4 controller. You know, because that's not a mouthful.
or just the controller.
The
Yeah.
controller,
The thing that does the things.
the thing that makes the things
Um,
move.
mm,
Oh
Literally.
wow. I just
Um,
googled a PS4 controller and someone's done a photoshopped one where it's got like a million buttons on it. They should
yeah,
have made this
it's
one.
an old meme. It's a very old meme.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I'm behind.
um, but yeah, the controller looks pretty cool. If they decide to put a decent web browser onto the PS4, which they probably won't, then that little touchpad in the middle will be great for browsing the web with. It's one of the big things that Valve are trying to make a big deal of with the Steam box. Is that, it'll have a good web browser, but it won't have one of those probably. So yeah, that'll
Well,
be
you
good.
never know. It could do. I mean, the Xbox is,
Eh,
the best platform for Netflix, so you never know. It might be the main redeeming
No,
feature
no,
of it.
no, 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 it's not because you've got to pay. You've got to pay to watch Netflix and then pay again. And you've got to pay to use Internet Explorer and you've got to pay to use everything else. So that is a load of rubbish to start with. But yeah,
Well, I'm waiting for them. I know it's driving away from PlayStation at the moment, but I'm waiting for Xbox to sort of step up their game because they're kind of lagging behind a bit in the old, like, online department. I'm waiting for them to turn around and say it's going to be free.
They won't.
I know they won't, but I want them to, and then them basically to say, well, PlayStation Plus. Well, here is an Xbox Plus, and I think that would work better for them. But that's just me.
So the thing is, with all the stuff that Sony mentioned last night, so things like Gaikai and the video sharing and all of this stuff, I don't expect that to be free.
Yeah.
I expect it to be on a monthly subscription, because they're going to hemorrhage money otherwise for hosting that. It's going to be a paid-for service, and if that's the sort of model they're moving to, then yeah, it'll just be another Xbox Live.
It's all very reminiscent of OnLive, though, don't you think? The whole like sharing content directly from the console straight onto the actual servers, and
if it wasn't for the fact that you had lag on things like OnLive and needed a rock-solid internet connection to play it, I thought it was pretty good. I was quite impressed by the fact that they've made it actually viable and actually work. So yeah, having that sort of thing on there is pretty cool. I mean, I'm not necessarily into streaming like the games I play, but I know that Twitch is certainly very popular with people like playing League of Legends, for example. There's loads and loads of people streaming that. So yeah, I think it's a really good thing.
But is it worth an entire button? That's a question. Yes. You think it's worth an entire button on the controller, a share button? See,
especially considering how stuff's going these days.
Well, I know we're a very sharing nation, or sharing generation, should I say, at this moment in time, but I don't see any problem in just going to like the dash and then clicking share rather than having an actual button that just says share. It just seems like it could be used for something more.
Like grenades.
Yeah, like grenades. Another explosion, because that's what we need, more explosions in games.
It's like those adverts that are out at the minute where it's like people should be like, oh shit's boring, so they turn a button on that says like fun or something, and then they get like blown through the walls and they end up somewhere really fun. That's what that button should be used for.
Yes, that is exactly what it should be used for.
It's boring.
I want to push that button and go on a cruise. That's what I want it to do. I want it to send me on a cruise.
Fuck this shit, I'm going on a cruise.
I don't even like boats, so yeah. It's like the worst button it could ever possibly be for me. Like the instantly sick button. Thank you, Sony, for the instantly sick button. Well, it's got that color bar on it as well, though, hasn't it? Is that to replace the PlayStation Move or to interact as if it was the PlayStation Move? The light bar on the controller.
I think it's to complement it more than anything. There's now a stereo camera, which they've also announced to go with it, which is part of the whole controller announcement.
Is that the PS4i?
To see where it is. Yeah, it's essentially the replacement for the previous one, which is supposed to be able to see your controller in 3D. It's very similar to what Microsoft have done with Kinect, although Kinect uses a grid of lasers rather than a second camera, but it's still a similar sort of concept. Kinect, I find, works very well, so yeah, there's no reason why it shouldn't work for the Move controller as well, for the DualShock 4, should I say. Yeah. Especially if you could do like video chat in 3D, that'd be pretty cool as well.
That would be pretty epic. Video chat in 3D would be pretty cool, I must admit. Well, that sums up the controller then, because I don't think there's any more. Oh, it's a DualShock controller. Yeah. It goes up, down, left, right, and it has buttons on it. Other than that, on trigger buttons. I think that's it covered.
Yeah, I would just mention about the trigger buttons. They have done exactly the same thing again. So they don't have grips to keep your fingers on. They just taper off at the bottom. Yet again. So
that's annoying.
What it's going to do is be really uncomfortable again. Yeah.
Oh, there is one other
thing
thing.
I did like about 360 controller comparison.
There is one other thing about this PlayStation controller that the first PlayStation controllers didn't have. It has a headphone jack in it, which makes it a lot easier for you to actually plug in a headphone, which was ridiculous when the first PlayStation 3 came out. So, and I have heard on the grapevine that there will be an actual headset provided when you buy a PlayStation 4 as well. It's only a bog standard one, but at least it's something.
Yeah, it's going to be if they do a premium pack or something, which is But yeah, if it's similar to the Xbox system, then yeah, that's a good thing. Plus, I mean, you get your own game audio instead of everyone else's when you're playing multiplayer, which would be pretty cool. Yeah, it's a good thing, definitely.
The only other thing that, in regards to hardware, is it was on about how you can just switch it over to your Vita now with a PS4 and just carry on from where you left off. Could you do that with the PlayStation 3? I don't think you could you? I don't think you could just switch it over. So, that's interesting.
The thing is, you need the game to support it first, and that's going to there's going to be a lot of development effort required to make that happen, and it's only really going to be, I would see, for first-party titles, especially where a game's going to be multi-platform, so say PS3 and Xbox. It's not going to happen because they're not going to just put the extra development effort in for the PlayStation version of it. It's just not going to happen. So it's only going to be first-party titles. I see it happening.
You know what? That's just made me think of, because Nintendo's brought out the Wii U, where you can play your game on your computer, but then you can also take it on the controller with the screen. PlayStation are doing it that you can put your game onto your PS Vita, whether that's going to be fully doable or not. So do you think Microsoft are going to finally try and do something so they can do that? Because otherwise, when they bring their new console out, it'll be the only one that can't do that.
Microsoft already have. The Smart Glass app is available for Android and iOS. So games like Forza Horizon, for example, we're able to take extra content onto your tablet. Even if it was just complementary to the game, it wasn't the game itself, it was complementary. And from what Sony was saying yesterday, you'd be able to take, it's like during the Drive Club demo, I think it was called Drive Club anyway. What you could do is basically check up on your team from your tablet and issue challenges and do all this sort of team management stuff from. They showed it with the Sony tablet, of course, but I'm assuming they'll mean any Android tablet or possibly even an iPad or something similar.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool if they can. But again, it's only going to be down for certain games. Depends on how easy it is to port something between, say, Smart Glass and Sony's platform and how different they are and what features they support sort of cross-platform, which is difficult to call. Unfortunately.
Well, I know they're never going to do this, but to me, the Vita's kind of a bit of dead weight at this moment in time. I don't like it at all. But what I was thinking is,
I was just waiting for yesterday's announcement to be like, oh, we're bringing out a lime green Vita. Oh, good, bye.
Yeah, something like that.
Just waiting for that.
Yeah.
But
I was thinking if they actually gave the Vita away in a package with the PlayStation 4 as an accessory, as to the fact of what they said, as was using it as a secondary part of interest, that would probably be a massive selling point, and it would drastically
cost.
Yeah, it'd cost a lot of money.
It would cost £500 to do that.
Yeah,
it's just not going to happen. It would be an astronomical amount of money. It would be really cool if they did. But it'd be an astronomical amount of money. Unfortunately for the Vita, all the stuff they've just put out for the PS4 isn't on the Vita.
No.
But it's capable of doing it all. This is the thing. The Vita's never really taken off, mainly because things like the PlayStation Store on there are horrible to navigate through. Which you compare it with, say, an Android tablet or an iOS device. It's cheaper to buy one of those, and it's quicker to use, quicker to get your stuff onto it than it is with a Vita. It's a horrible system, really, when you look at it for anything past games. The games themselves are good, but the rest of the system's junk. It's really not good. And I hope that they can really improve that software when the PS4 comes out, which they probably can't.
No, they've set the bar now, really, haven't they?
It's meant to see.
So that's the hardware. I can't really think of anything else we can say other than actually going through the specs of the actual console itself, which I can't be asked. I'll be honest, unless you want to do it.
Well, Well, I'm gonna say something very quick. Yeah, the console itself, yeah, it's about a mid-range PC by the looks of it. GDDR5 memory, woo! So they can afford to put that onto a board. Yeah, just drive up price. Whatever. Completely unnecessary. Yeah, 8 gigs of RAM, woo! Big for a console. Yeah, it's a pretty standard PC otherwise. Looking past that, some sort of AMD custom thing, I imagine. But there we go. Not a lot else to say, really. So it didn't tell us anything else
Nope.
because they were horrible
they,
like that.
they basically told us naffle. So now
Yeah,
moving on to some of the
basically.
things that they did actually tell us. Games. Now there are estimated approximately 176 developers and publishers already on board with the PS4, which is a lot. Well, I think it's a lot.
Have expressed interest.
Oh yeah, or have expressed some kind of interest. This also includes Blizzard, which I was not expecting to appear at all. This sort of took me aback a bit, really. Old school PC company just appearing on the PlayStation.
How are you going to play Diablo on a controller? That makes no sense to me at all. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that.
The only way I could think you could do it is if you did it as if it was a mouse. So, but then you might as well just play it on the PC.
Well, that would just be nice.
Well, yeah, you can't do it on a controller. And Conker's already proved it. It's just not.
Yeah.
You need a mouse to select your units. It's just not going to be the same sort of thing. I know it's not exactly the same kind of game, but it's very sort of similar in its control scheme. Yeah, it's just not going to work.
Also, Diablo 3... Sorry, Claire, you go on. We've talked of you already.
I'm just one person that chips in because I know frick all. But, yeah. Because I'd heard people going on... I'd see it on Twitter the next morning because I've just stopped watching it after so long. About people being like, oh, how, why the hell are they saying they're going to put Diablo 3 on it? And I was like, what's the big deal? Because I've not actually played it before. But it wasn't until you just said that I was like, oh, wait, yeah, it's a PC game, normally. And
it's a top-down thing. It's...
Yeah.
To select units.
And it's like...
Do all sorts of things with the mouse.
That's like... You know, when they did... the only game like that I've really experienced is... which one was it? The Halo one that was like a RTS.
Halo Wars, I believe.
Yeah, and that was on the Xbox. It was just it was horrible because especially when you're people who've grown up playing stuff like Age of Empire or Civilization, all of that stuff, and everyone knows from playing those that a mouse is the best way to go because it means that you can select, you can be precise with what you're doing. Whereas when you suddenly take that to a controller, it's like, well, you're seriously limiting what you can actually do then. And it's why?
Halo Wars, if I remember correctly, was developed by Ensemble Studios, who also made Age of Empires. And yeah, I mean, I never really had a look at Halo Wars, but yeah, I can see that they would stumble on that. It's not something that translates to a controller very well. Who knows? Maybe Blizzard will pull it off.
Maybe
they've got the capacity to, but we'll see.
Well, they've definitely got the fan base, but then saying that, Diablo 3 kind of sort of vanished under the massive veil of Skyrim, to be honest. Well, I think it did. It sort of didn't hold the place.
It's a different kind of game, though.
Yeah, it wasn't as... I don't know, didn't punch a hole as much as Diablo and Diablo 2 did, so... But we'll see. I think it won't have a problem selling. It'll be a problem of keeping it. That would be the problem. Everyone will be like, yeah, that's a really good idea, we'll buy it. And then if it doesn't work, everyone's going to be moaning about it, and there'll be no way to fix it. So, what games did you like? Like the look of that game that they showcased yesterday? Anything in particular, you guys?
The Witness.
The Witness.
Guns and Blows new game.
You mean Myst?
Not. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't really know that much about it. If it's gameplay, but the art style was very pretty. I really did like that. That looked very good.
That was it was Jonathan Blows, wasn't it? The guy who created Braid. Yeah, he did it, didn't he? Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah.
It does look amazing, I must admit. It gave me all those kind of old school tingles, because it is what as soon as it came on the screen, I did automatically think it was Myst, as well as 45,000 other people on my Twitter feed who suddenly went, "Is this Myst?" It's like, no, it's not Myst, but it's very Myst-like. But I do like puzzles. I like puzzle games, and it looked quite interesting. Definitely something I would love to have a go on. Might even make me might get off my ass and actually buy a console, but we'll see.
Well, yeah, I know my work colleague went into game first thing this morning and placed down a pre-order. So he was like, oh my god, I need to have it in my life. So yeah. We're already doing pre-orders on it.
If you've got the money, then yes.
Well, according to this, it says it will take at least 25 hours to complete. I think that's a challenge right there. 25 hours? We could do that in a day. 25. It's 20.
It is, like, I think
25 hours in a day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, there is on Sam time.
On Sam time. But yeah, because I think of who's making it makes, like, you can tell it's probably going to be a really good game, because I mean, Braid was just, new and great, and I'm yet to complete it, but I really enjoy it. So I'm hoping this will be of the same sort of quality, but at the same time, like, because the games they announced before, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, it's the same stuff we've seen already, but just it looks nicer." And then they brought this out, and loads of people were like, "Oh my god, this looks so good." And yeah, it does, but at the same time, I mean, it's like Sam, you're saying you got the tingles. I was just watching it, I was like, okay, it looks like it's gonna be pretty cool, but it doesn't look like it's anything overly new and interesting. I mean, I might be wrong. People are probably going to hate me for saying.
Well, it's not new, because Myst is ancient, but the reason I got the tingles is because Myst is pretty much the first video game that I actually played on the PC, and I really got into it. So that's why it sort of like hit home to me a little bit. I mean, don't you remember when Andy was bragging because he came to Hull and bought like Myst and Myst 2 and Broken Sword for the PC for like £3. It's absolutely sickening, but that back in the day that would have cost a small fortune.
Yeah.
£3. Sorry, I'm from Yorkshire. I can't help it. It's just it's in my bones. Tight-fistedness.
Excuses.
I just see £3 and all of a sudden my brain goes, "What, the biscuit? £3? Oh my god!" So.
You and biscuits.
I love biscuits.
I mean, yeah.
Let's leave biscuits out of this. Baskets. Let's leave baskets out of this. Baskets of biscuits.
Confused him with the mention of biscuits.
Right. Well, I liked the look of
Yes.
Knack, if nobody else did. I thought it looked very interesting. Matt Kearney did that, didn't he? The guy who did Marble Madness. So it does kind of look like Ganondorf, though, don't you think? Just a little bit.
I did see occasional frames of it. Unfortunately, my stream was having a bit of a fit at the time.
Oh, mine was alright.
It reminded me a lot of. It reminded me a lot of not Jak and Daxter, the other one, Ratchet and
Clank.
Reminded me a lot of that. Yeah, not so much the art style, but just the way
it played.
Not the art style, but the way it looked. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean,
that's
what I thought.
The way this cutscenes looked.
What I thought the same thing.
So,
that and Spyro the Dragon, like the original, like it's that kind of like cartoony, artsy style. I quite liked it.
Yeah.
But I still can't get over the fact that it looks like Ganondorf made out of building blocks. It just looks a bit weird. But yeah, I think that looked actually interesting, and it was something a little bit different. So that would be definitely one I would want to have a go and have a look at. I mean, I'll mention it now because it won't get mentioned for long, because I'm pretty sure you won't like it. But the one I'm really not interested in is Drive Club. I couldn't give two flying dicks about that, to be honest. It looked
the thing is, all the stuff they were saying about it was like, oh yeah, we've modelled all of this, carpet texture and all of this, individual carbon fiber textures and all this other stuff. And it's like, well, nobody cares that much. I mean, I was looking at the model they've got, and you could see that they hadn't like smoothed all of the things around the headlights, for example. It was good, but it wasn't amazing. I just wasn't that impressed by it.
Well,
If it's Gran Turismo with an element of fun, then great. But otherwise, yeah, it's just going to be more rubbish. So.
Well, what made me laugh was he was like, "Look at all these fibers that we've done, putting in the effort into putting into the seats." And I'm like, "But you sat in the fucking thing. You don't see it for 3/4 of the game. You only see it when you open the door and get in it. And then you've got to go through the laborious task of strapping yourself into it anyway." It was just a bit too realistic for me.
Unless you're on a 4K TV, then there's no point in modelling all of that.
It was just game porn for Jeremy Clarkson. That's what it was.
It wasn't even that. I don't doubt for a second that they've gone to all that trouble. Fair enough. But nobody cares. It's just the problem. I couldn't care less about that. If it doesn't play well, then all of that's for naught. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But is that a replacement for Gran Turismo?
It's going to be down to game. Not a replacement. Obviously, it's a different studio. Gran Turismo 6 won't be out until 2025 if Polyphony get their way. So, I mean, look, you just have to look at the delays on GT5 to know about that. Yeah, it might be all right. That's all I can really say on that one.
I reckon it'll do you. It will do you in the interim for GT5 to come out. I reckon.
Maybe.
I reckon it might just do you for the interim. If that, well, I'm pretty sure some DLC will come out for Need for Speed or something like that. That might boost you a little bit if you're playing Need for Speed. Those people who like to play driving games. Not me per se, because I can't stand driving games. Mainly because I can't play them. But
I like driving games, but not Need for Speed.
Sorry,
really
Andy, we don't
you're gonna
like
piss off
it.
a certain person. Actually, two people.
That other person. I quite like that other person.
Yeah, that other person who. Imagine. Yeah, he's all right. But, go and have a look on Kickstarter for Death Inc.
Yes, have a look at Death Inc. Everyone, go there, support it. Do everything.
We're done with the plug.
Yeah. Free plugging.
Yeah, you owe us £5 million now. Yeah, just have to see if it's any good, and it probably won't be.
Well, one thing that I think is going to surprise me is Deep Down from the that game Deep Down with the Panty Raid system. I mean, not the Panty Raid system. I mean the Panta Ray engine. He blatantly said Panty Ray system. I don't care what anybody said. He said Panty
Raid. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. That was all the jokes that went up to it.
Yoshinori Ono and his Panty Raid. I mean, Panty Raid. Come on. But it's not going to be
deep down in Panty Raid.
We all know it's not actually going to be Deep Down. We all know it's going to be Dragon's Dogma 2, don't we? I mean, did you see the trailer?
Not necessarily, no. One of the ideas I saw posted around on Twitter afterwards was it might be sort of a meta game. So not a meta game in that respect, but sort of a bit meta in that could be something that's happening, say, in a board game that's being played. Because it didn't look realistic. If that makes any sense, because it was full of dragons and fire breathing, so that's not realistic at all. But I don't know what I meant.
I think I get what you mean. I mean, it didn't seem to flow correctly. It sort of just had like almost as if it was turn based, but not. I kind of get what you mean. But I think Capcom's going to surprise us, because a lot of people have been saying like, "Oh, you can't be asked about Capcom and this new thing." But I think it actually is going to be pretty good. I think it might surprise us with his Panty Raid new system. and you never know, Lizzie might be really happy, and you might have a game with dragons in that you don't have to kill. might become friends with them.
Friends with the dragons.
You know, it could be.
Speaking of which, where was the Last Guardian? Where was it?
I don't know.
Probably not going to hear anything at E3 either.
It wasn't there. I mean, if you look at all the actual websites covering this actual event, they all say unannounced Final Fantasy game Square Enix. Every single one of them.
I don't care.
But there was no unannounced Final Fantasy game. There was you wait until E3. We give you special say something in E3. Yes.
What Square Enix did was send 2 guys out to play the same video that was played about 18 months ago. Everybody's apparently seen it. I hadn't seen it before, but I hadn't paid any attention. Yeah, apparently it's already been played before at a previous conference. Everyone was saying this. So I lost interest. And then someone came out to say, oh, yeah, in very broken English, oh, yeah, we've got a new Final Fantasy game coming out. Fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you for paying attention. Great, brilliant. I couldn't care less.
Thank you for paying attention. It was beautiful.
The problem is, it'll probably be Final Fantasy 15, and it'll probably be rubbish. And yeah.
No, we don't want that. We want a remake of Final Fantasy 7. We want Final Fantasy 7 being remade.
It'll never happen.
No, we want a remake of Fantasy. Shit, which one did I play?
7. 7.
8? I don't know.
Everyone will fight about which one they want remade, and then when they decide to remake one, they'll just angry. It'll just make people angry because they'll go, "Oh, they did this wrong. Oh, they did this wrong." They will never get a chance to get it completely right, even though doing it will make them all the money in the world. Yeah. Every single fan will buy it.
Well,
yeah, or
it is basically a massive bailout
doesn't matter how well
clause.
they do it. It'll break.
If they ever get into serious problems, then if they did that, then they would have no problems anymore. That's basically like it's like their nest egg of that they've already used once.
The nest egg from 1997.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, don't break it if it's not broken.
Don't break it if it's not broken. In the context of an egg.
Yeah, in the context of an egg that's already been used. How do you use an egg and not break it? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. This is like whole spoonerisms. They don't even make any sense. What about you, Claire?
Whole spoonerisms.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna shut up now. Claire, anything that you liked in particular, or thought stood out?
I liked for the feuds I did watch when they were all like, we're now so good at what we do that we can create a character and he'll have a soul behind his eyes.
Oh, the old man. That's PlayStation's new frontman.
But I like that they were just like, you could probably look at this old man and you could tell he's been through some shit. And I was just like,
oh, yes. Is this the guy from Quantic Dream?
Yes.
Oh, he can go and bite my ass. Yeah, a guy coming on and talking about emotion. Yeah, great. What they should have done, I would have paid everyone in that room $10 each to just shout Jason at him, and that would have been great.
Agreed. That would have been brilliant. Fantastic.
Yeah, I listened to the guy's speech before, I think a previous E3 conference from Sony, and I couldn't care less about what he was talking about. Yeah, games need emotion. No, what they need is proper storytelling, not emotion. Yeah. Emotion's already been done.
Which is one thing where, like, so obviously it's nice that they can do this kind of technology. You know, we're advancing in technology. It's nice that they can do this, that they can make something look almost realistic when they've done it in a computer. But
the thing is, Quantic Dream there, that guy came along and said, yeah, we're the only ones who've done this sort of facial animation technology. Bullshit, because it's been done before. L.A. Noire, for example, took that to new heights. And it's not something that we're not going to see from other companies. I'm very skeptical of that guy.
It kind of feels like whenever Apple brings something out and go, oh, here's this totally new thing that no one's ever done before, and they give it a name that sounds all new and innovative, but then when you use it, you're like, well, actually, other people have done this before. You've just done the exact same thing and given it a new name. You know, it's
FaceTime.
yeah. But I mean,
yeah, that.
it is that thing where it's more like, because this is the trouble. The kind of person I'm becoming with games and stuff, I found so much of what they showed so boring, so tedious, and so finally when they're like done this thing where we can create a character where you can see us like their eyes and stuff make you think like they look like a real person. I was like, well, that's pretty cool. It's an aesthetic thing, you know. That I think I can appreciate that they've done that. But at the same time, that means shit if they can't create an actual good game that's going to make me go, oh yeah, this game's great, and it's also great that these characters are like this. And that's one of the reasons I'm getting really sick of gaming lately. Is just that I'm yet to find a game that interests me as much as something like Sonic used to when I was a kid, or any of those games I grew up with. And I'm just like, it's just becoming bullshit that they're relying almost completely on fandoms and nice looking graphics.
There was a section in Charlie Brooker's Game Wipe. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he basically said that games. It was Graham Linehan. He mentioned about games following the scripts from movies rather than sort of things that were in depth. And he used Grand Theft Auto Vice City as an example. But being too action based and not being based on a proper story. And yeah, the games still have always had that problem. They still have that problem, and I think are still going to continue to have that problem until someone finds a better way of conveying a proper story.
Mm.
That's the problem that they keep going to keep facing. But emotion's not the answer.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
But is innovation the answer as well?
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, this new Media Molecules new sculpting game. I mean, you can't get much more innovating than that, and you make your own stories up with it. So, could this be like a doorway into where it should go?
I had the biggest stupid grin on my face while watching that. The whole damn thing. The presentation being drawn behind them, and then them modelling it using move controllers. And the fact that they'd got what looked like some basic rigging tools and skeletal movements, and they're able to put actions on those characters, even if that is just a text. They don't do anything.
Oh dear, Skype's gone a bit funny, Lucky. Just for everyone's inconvenience.
Instant sharing that you get through the system now would be awesome. But just putting up a quick web series or something like a Machinima series, that'd be great.
That would be pretty cool using this software, I must admit. I mean, you was a bit skeptical about this, weren't you, Claire? I remember you saying, like...
Yeah, because it's, like, I mean, I don't know a lot about the programming and stuff that goes behind the game. I just know what I've heard from people that do know what they're talking about. And like what I've been told has happened in previous shows of new stuff, I just assumed it was like a pre-rendered video thing that they got people to like do choreography to in order to make it look like they were doing it. But Loki's kind of said otherwise. I don't know. It's just one like sculpting looks really interesting to me. I'd be interested in giving that a go, because watching them do it, I was really curious to see how that works. But yeah, when it came to the actual animating part and having characters moving around and stuff, I was just like, I'm calling bullshit, because I don't see how anyone using that program could get the characters to do that much with so little happening on their controller.
But with something like Little Big Planet, for example, it showed that Media Molecule were actually very good at doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Making, giving things additional animations and so on, so that you wouldn't expect.
Actually, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Just a basic control. So, yeah, that's why it was believable, considering what they've done before.
Yeah, because from what I have seen of Little Big Planet, there's been loads of times that I've seen clips of it and been like, I can't believe that you can do this on that game.
Yeah.
So I guess taking that into account, yeah, maybe it is doable. And like I said, with the sculpting thing, I'd be well up for that.
Mm.
But
Especially if it's properly collaborative as well. I mean,
yeah,
not everyone's got a massive IMAX screen like they had there,
yeah,
but you know, even just two people on the same screen or across the internet or something similar, that would be pretty cool.
yeah. I mean, it's the only thing that really like bugs me with it is that before they showed any of that stuff, they were like, the guy was talking, he was all like, "Yeah, we've like found a way to like." I'm pretty sure he put it as to record your dreams, and I was just like, "Shit!" They finally figured out how to do this kind of thing because all the pictures, like they had the video of someone drawing while he was talking. Obviously, I know
Mm.
that like that's something that I was just like, surely this is bullshit because there's no way they've figured out how to do that. But the whole way through, that's literally what they were making it sound like they were doing, is that they were going to record your dreams. That's everything they were doing, made it look like that's what they were talking about. And then suddenly they turn around like, yeah, you can make sculpted pictures and stuff. And I was like, what's that? What? Like, I can see what they were trying to do, but at the same time, I was a bit like, what? What? Why are they doing
Well,
this?
yeah, I mean, it's not going to be something that actually records your dreams because that's
Mm.
not even possible. Um, but something that lets you record them or perhaps play with them. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's all very whimsical anyway, but the whole video was whimsical, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's just one of those things where I find it quite humorous when you get like gaming companies and big corporate things trying to be all, oh, we're going to be whimsical and dreamy and
The thing
emotion, and
is,
I'm like, you can't do it. It doesn't work.
Media Molecule's not a big studio. They're only a small team, really.
Oh,
They've only released two games,
oh
so
right.
yeah, they've only released Little Big Planet and Little Big Planet 2.
Oh, okay, shows how little I know. But it's that kind of thing that
So
I'm just,
yeah.
because that's the
Mm.
thing. Because it kind of worked with like the guy they had up and stuff. He, you know, you could tell he meant what he was saying, and so that's why I was very sort of unsure about it, and why it's in the end I was sort of like, okay, this feels a bit bullshitty, but at the same time I can kind of see where they're coming from. But then you get some people who, like some of the other people that were talking and stuff. I was like, wow, you can tell these people are really socially awkward because they just sound really like and
Mm.
it's that kind of thing
Doesn't
where like you get some people who, I mean, it's like
It's not second nature to a lot of people. So
yeah, I mean that's like, I know that's me sort of that actually sounds horrible me saying that because I know that it's not that they actually don't care and that they're corporate. It's just that that's the kind of people they are. But it is just that thing where sometimes I find it hard to take stuff seriously when they're trying to suddenly go, oh, it's all magical and all of this stuff.
mm.
Sorry, I just made myself sound
No.
like a massive twat there, but yeah.
Don't you think you
Nah.
do this every recording, and then when I listen to it back, you don't? It's just in your mind, Claire.
Well, no, I actually mean I sound like a twat because I'm basically wailing on a bunch of people who, I mean, it's
Right,
that
you're
thing
not
of
making
like,
whole spoonerisms.
Yeah,
Don't
Claire.
worry about it.
Show some bloody respect.
Yeah.
it's. I'm sorry, it's my pretentious artist douchery coming out there.
You can see some
I find
pretentious
it hard to
artist
take game
douchery.
stuff seriously because I'm an artiste.
You're an artiste.
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 I'm a douche. Leave me alone.
Artistic pretension. Mm.
Yep.
Yep.
How
I mean, that's
intense?
the thing. Part.
Mm.
Sorry, go on.
Hmm?
That's the thing. Part of you.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I keep saying that very little made me go, oh wow, I can't wait to see that because, especially recently, I've been more like the sort of games that I've been drawn to are ones that are they're more illustrative than nice computer graphics, and that's just me, obviously. But it's that thing of that's kind of what I was wanting to see. I was wanting to see this one game where they were not just going, oh, it's 3D and it's graphical and we've got this many pixels and all of this shit. I just wanted it something to come out and be like, oh yeah, we've like hired this illustrator to like illustrate this entire thing, and so it's like really aesthetically. But it's all like this is me being, like I said, a bit of a pretentious douchebag because That's what I want in a game now. I want
Exactly.
something that's pretty and illustrative and that suits what I find aesthetically pleasing. And otherwise, if it's not, then if the game's not that good, I'm just like, whatever.
The thing with that is with this sort of dwindling budgets that are available to even AAA titles these days, it's probably not going to happen unless you go for something that's both illustrated and developed by the same person, or a small team, and that's something that's not really pervaded into consoles yet. The fact that they had Jonathan Blow up there suggests that maybe indies will start to move to the consoles, but the problem that Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo all have is that if Apple were to come along tomorrow, were to come along at E3 even, with a games console, that they'd sort of taken Apple TV, added a controller, and jazzed it up to be a full-on games console, they would have a ton of developers who would be doing that exact thing behind them, and they could get their console out for less money. So they could upset the whole industry if they were to do that. There's nothing to stop them doing it either. But yeah, it's just not going to happen on the regular consoles unless they allow indies to really get onto them.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's something that hasn't really happened yet. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I think we're going to leave it there and come back into a second part because we have been going on for nearly 47 minutes. It's quite exponential. I have got like 1, 2, 3, at least another 4 games to talk about. So.
Oh god, I have a bathroom break.
You can have a bath. You've told the internet that you want a bathroom break because I am not editing this at all.
I don't care. I could have said it in a much nastier way, but I knew the internet would be listening.
They're always listening.
Go for a whiz.
Always
right.
listening.
Say goodbye, everybody, and we will say hello in the next part. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.